just forget about this game. If you're a Dodger fan, you're better off forgetting about the latest loss that the Dodgers had today against the Arizona Dbacks because it was a really tough game to watch. Hey, it's Mike Nelson of Dodgers Digest. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to thank the 13% of you that have subscribed already to the channel, but 86% of you, the ones that are watching these videos, have not yet subscribed. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any big Dodger news. Me and Brad J are bringing you Dodger videos every single day. Let's get right into it. Of course, the Dodgers had a tough loss today against the Arizona D-backs, 14-3. Just a disastrous loss. It was basically a blowout loss. Like the LA Times basically said, it was a train wreck from the beginning. The Dodgers, of course, giving up 8 runs in the second inning and pretty much unable to bounce back. But like I mentioned at the start of this video, the Dodgers, if you're a Dodger fan, got my Dodger hat today, you got to wear your colors today. You got to be a proud Dodger fan today, even though they lost, because the Dodgers, already won the first 2 games of this series, and you have to commend them for that. They were able to overcome so much adversity the last couple days, with Clayton Kershaw's injury on Friday, and still finding a way to win that ball game. And then, of course, even yesterday, Gavin Stone's, lackluster performance, to say the least, in Arizona. The Dodgers were able to kind of bounce through that, get through that. The Dodgers, have not had the best pitching in this series, but the Dodgers have scored so many runs, scoring 18 runs, right, in the first 2 ball games. And that, of course, led to 2 huge W's that put them 6 games ahead of the D-backs that kick off today, giving them somewhat of a cushion moving into these last 2 games, because right, that's what the Dodgers were looking for, like we talked about here on this channel. Winning 2 out of 4 was not the end of the world, because it would keep them, 4 games ahead. Right now, they are currently 5 games ahead, so that's, they're still in the driver's seat when it comes to, being ahead of the division. They were, like I mentioned, 6 going in. Today's loss puts them 5 ahead. So, the Dodgers had a tough loss today. Robleski just did not, have his stuff tonight. Today, I should say, it was an early day game, 1 p.m. out in very hot Arizona, in indoors, of course. And then, a lot of Dodger fans wanted to kind of bring that up as well, because there's just not a lot. There's not a lot of good stuff to talk about when it comes to this ball game. There were some, of course, negative comments on social media on the Dodgers channels and all that when it comes to the broadcast of today's game, right? Because today's game was on Roku. MLB has the Sunday Roku games. Basically, every Sunday, MLB has a exclusive game on Roku. And this week was the first week I believe it was the first week the Dodgers were picked to be on Roku this season. So there was a lot of Dodger fans out there looking for today's game. So hopefully, maybe it was better if you didn't find it, because today was one of those games that, to be honest with you, I turned off after the second inning. I couldn't watch this at all after that 8-inning second inning, which is just a disaster. Let's look a little bit at, we'll look at Robleski's stats in a bit, but I wanted to look a little bit at, the offense today. Betts and Freeman, of course, being taken out early after the disastrous start to this game. But, Ohtani going 0 for 4. It just shows you the importance of Ohtani and his contributions to this team. Think about it. Friday hit a double to start off the game. That was important. First pitch of the series hits a double. Yesterday hits a home run to start the game. Well, tonight didn't happen, right? So just shows you how the first inning was key in the first 2 games of the series. So the Dodgers were able to score runs, take an early lead, and that's very important. Today's game, I believe it was the first or second inning. I could be wrong. The Dodgers had a couple runners on and were unable to score. Well, that ended up being a huge, difference, right? I believe it was the second inning. I quote me if I'm wrong. But anyway, the Dodgers had a shot to score some runs early on. Weren't able to do that. And, they ended up paying a huge price, giving up, of course, 8 runs in the second inning. And, as we've talked about, the pitching woes just continue for the Dodgers. This is now 3 straight games in this series against a quality opponent that the Dodgers have had bad starting pitching. Of course, Clayton Kershaw, was probably injured, but still didn't have a good start, didn't make it through, second inning, right? And then, of course, yesterday, Gavin Stone did not have his stuff, right? Didn't pitch well. I mean, right from the get-go, first inning, Dodgers had a lead, and then he let that go very quickly. And then today, Wrobleski just did not bring his A game. 10 hits, 10 runs given up. He was left in the ball game after the second inning, after having a 41-pitch second inning and giving up 8 runs. The Dodgers really were waving the white flag at that point because the bullpen is just so taxed at this point. I mean, that is just the honest truth. I mean, look at who they ended up having close out this game. Kike Hernandez, normally an infielder, had to pitch at the end, giving up a couple runs there. Of course, he's pitched before in his career. But that's what I'm saying. If you're a Dodger fan like myself and the millions around the world, just forget about this ball game. I mean, the Dodgers have this. This is one of those games we're hopefully gonna throw away and not think about when we're parading with the team in a couple months as World Series champions. That's right, 2024 Dodgers World Series champions. So we're hopefully gonna forget about this game. What is it, September 1st, 2024? We're gonna forget about it, right? We're gonna move forward and think about tomorrow, because tomorrow is a huge game. That's right, a huge game tomorrow. And you're wondering, Michael, why is tomorrow so huge? Well, because tomorrow is going to decide, if the Dodgers win this series or they split it and maintain. If they win tomorrow, they could jump this lead back up to 6. Or if the Dbacks win, it's going back to 4. But most importantly, something that I think a lot of people are overlooking is that tomorrow is going to decide who wins the season series between these two ball clubs. And the Dodgers have already lost the season series against the Padres. So losing the season series to the D-backs as well, could potentially cause some issues, right? Even if it's a 3-way tie, I mean, that could really put the Dodgers in a tough situation. Or if the Dodgers are tied with either the D-backs or Padres at the end of the year, if they lose tomorrow, well, they're going to have the tiebreaker because there's no more playoff game. There's no more tiebreaker game, I should say, at the end of the Major League season. That's gone. So basically, head-to-head is what decides, who moves on, who wins the division. So that's where we're at right now. That's what it's going to decide tomorrow. And tomorrow for the Dodgers, Jack Flaherty's on the mound. This is going to be his huge opportunity to, redeem himself. He's, of course, had some good starts. He's had some shaky moments. He's, given up some tough home runs. He's made some bad pitches in key situations. So tomorrow he's going to have to bring his A game against a very good Arizona hitting lineup, because as we could see, this team can score runs. Scored 9 runs on Friday, 6 runs yesterday, and you saw what happened today. A lot of runs. So this team can hit. They're going to take advantage of mistakes. Flaherty's got to make sure, everybody makes mistakes, right? It's just a matter of how big the mistakes are, right? You got to limit your mistakes, or make them, hope that the team doesn't take advantage when the mistakes are done, right? So that's what you hope for. Flaherty can pitch a smart game, can pitch a good game, and the Dodgers take an early lead. That's what I'm hoping for, because tomorrow is going to decide the season series. I mean, that's the fact of it. That's the gist of it. I mean, the Dodgers win tomorrow, they got a 6-game lead, and they got the season series against the D-backs, which, I mean, I'm not calling it yet, but it's going to put the D-backs in a really tough situation moving forward. 4-game lead is manageable. The Dodgers lose tomorrow, and of course the season series going to the D-backs is even more manageable. So it leaves everything kind of wide open if the Dodgers are unable to get a W. Tomorrow, a 1 p.m. start if you're in L.A., California, 1 p.m. Labor Day start. Labor Day, hopefully everybody's having a great Labor Day weekend. It's going to be an early start tomorrow, day game. Day games are always fun. I get to do the post game earlier. For those of you that are going to bed early, you get to see me a little early. But make sure to subscribe. We got a lot of cool content. We're growing like crazy on this channel. I want to thank the ones that are supporting, that are commenting. Comment below if you have any suggestions, any comments with this video. Make sure to like the video as well. And, go Dodgers!